LME 590 Practicum Digital Storytelling Presentation. My practicum at an elementary library media center gave me opportunities to experience collection development, library instruction, offering professional development, and advocacy, all of which are important aspects of any library media program. I practiced cataloging various items, including recent donations which needed to be added to the OPAC, items needing their call tag stickers changed so they were in places that were more logical for students, and items that were additional copies of currently held titles. For each item, I created and printed barcode labels and call tag stickers, and as needed, included AR level range and series stickers on the spines. One of my largest projects was to weed the nonfiction collection. I used the acronym MUSTY to evaluate the nonfiction books. After weeding the nonfiction section somewhat generally, I again used the MUSTY criteria to focus specifically on the biography section and to start weeding the everybody books section. Overall, there was a total of 224 donatable books. One aspect of preparing for my genre lesson was to create mini shelf posters for 9 specific books in the Library Media Center that each fit one of the particular genres I was going to be teaching. This is the result students will get when they scan the QR code on the "What's the Genre of Out of the Dust" poster.
Okay, I have been looking all over this library and can't figure out how to know the genre of a book. We have barcodes that let us check them out. And there's these cool tags that tell us where it belongs on the shelf. There's the AR tags that tell us what color, what point value we're going to have. But how do I know what the genre is of the book? Any ideas? Yeah?
You could read a little, like you could read the back and it could give you information of what the book's like it could talk about a mystery that's going on in the book.
Okay. So sometimes books have little blips about them on the back of it. What's another way I could find out about the
Look
genre?
at the tags right there. This one says fiction,
These up here?
the green ones. Yes.
Okay.
And then over there it says nonfiction on the orange. And then over by there, I think it says either chapter book or something. Not really matter. And then there's the end of the book.
Okay, hang on to that thought. We're going to get there. Ready to right arrow? There we go. So, genre is a category. You guys are right in that fiction is a category, nonfiction is a category. We have biography is its own category, poetry. A genre is a category. We can have it for books, we can have it for music or art, but today we're going to be focusing about books because we're in the library. The word genre comes from the French word for kind, as in type. So it's not saying, oh, you're a really kind person. It means kind as in different types of things. So how do we pronounce the word? It starts with a G, but that G sounds like a J. So the word would be genre if we stretch it all out and try to spell it phonetically. Let's try it. Genre. Okay, a little faster. Try to shove the sounds together a little bit faster. Genre. Good, good. All right, so there are three big categories based on the characteristics that the books have. Fiction, nonfiction, and poetry is all by itself, even though it's in the nonfiction category. Yes? I thought that was graphic. History. History is in nonfiction, but did you start to say graphic novels? Yeah. Okay. Graphic novel is a format of book because there are some Percy Jackson books here that are in chapter book format, and then when you get to the graphic novel section, there are some Percy Jackson graphic novels. It's the same story because it's presented in a different way. Same with picture books. Picture book is a different format of a book. Genre goes across all the different formats. There might be a mystery, I think somebody said mystery, graphic novel. There might be a mystery picture book. So genres are categories based on the characteristics of the story, what's going on within the book. So inside fiction, there's 5 subcategories, 5 genres within that. Realistic fiction, historical, science fiction, fantasy, and mystery. Inside nonfiction, we have the informational books, which is everything in nonfiction. Then we have traditional literature, which is a super special category we'll get to, and biography. Now, poetry. I know you guys know that poetry is over in the 800 section of the library. They're over in nonfiction, but poetry stands all by itself as being a genre category. It can be published individually, so one poem, one book, or it could be a collection of poems in the book by an author or a topic. So, why are we even talking about this today? Genres can help readers do 2 different things. It helps you find books similar to the ones you already like. If you happen to be a mystery person, knowing about that genre will clue you in to different books that you might like, but they might not be in the same series. They might also not be by the same author. Genres can also help you stretch your preferences. If all you read is Diary of a Wimpy Kid, it may be time to try something else for a while. Okay, now let's talk about those 9 genres that I mentioned a little earlier. Here they are, all nice and pretty with different colors. Let's look at realistic fiction first. So, realistic fiction, the basic characteristics are that the characters are all regular people. The setting can be in the modern day, happening right now, but probably fictional places. And the plot might happen in real life. You might be able to connect between what happens in your life with what happens to a character in a realistic fiction book. Historical fiction is next. Main characters are regular people, but the secondary characters, the other characters in the story, you may have heard about already. You may have talked about them in social studies. They can be real people that have a significant impact on historical events. So the setting is past times, usually real places. If you're reading a book that's realistic fiction, that's historical fiction about the Civil War, it's going to talk about battles that actually happened, maybe. But some of the characters might not have actually fought in those battles. So the plot is connected to history. Science fiction gets pretty interesting, though. The main characters are regular people, just like historical fiction, just like realistic fiction. But the secondary characters aren't people that had an impact on history. They could be people with special powers. They could be non-human. So it might be aliens or zombies or anything like that. The setting is usually in the future. Scientific fiction typically doesn't happen right now. It's talking about what might happen in the future. And then the plot mixes real science facts with fictional elements. Okay, fantasy. Characters are regular people with special powers or abilities sometimes, or special traits. The characters could even be talking animals. So the Winnie the Pooh series, if anybody remembers reading that when they were little, yeah? Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Kanga, everybody talks, right? Yep, they're animals, they're actually stuffed animals. They're toys that Christopher Robin has. They're objects that come to life, plus they're talking animals. So that's fantasy. The entire story about Winnie the Pooh is fantasy. Question? Okay. Feel free to stop me, ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions about something, and we're going to get to examples of books that fit these genres later, just so you know. So the setting can be any time, past, present, future, real or made up places. It's maybe something that happened here in school, but it could be about a book that comes to life, or the characters that come to life in a book off the shelf in the library. Plot can be a little different or really, really different than what happens in real life. Right, so mysteries. I remember somebody mentioned that one. Characters are regular people. Setting, usually modern day, sometimes can be past, which means that it kind of goes over into the historical fiction section a little bit. The plot has a problem. So the characters and the readers have to solve something, and there's always suspenseful elements. Okay. Informational, nonfiction, tells about facts about a topic. They usually have text features to help the readers understand the information or find it, like an index, bold words, glossary, all that jazz. Traditional literature. Now, it's in the 300 section in the library, but it's handed down through generations by storytelling. So it's stories that have been told and told and told and told to audiences that someone said, hey, we should write them down so our kids, our grandkids can still have these stories when the storyteller is no longer living. Traditional literature often has a moral or a lesson, something the reader or the listener is supposed to get from the story. There are several versions across countries. So Cinderella stories. Anybody read a Cinderella story? Yeah, there are Cinderella stories from all over the world. There's a Cinderella story in Japan, in China, in Korea, in the Middle East, in England, and France. There's Cinderella stories that have the same elements, but the setting's completely different. Biography, facts about a real person's life, written by somebody else. They can be long, meaning that they might be a picture book. I remember when I was working on the President's Day picture books over there, I pulled a lot of a picture book of John F. Kennedy, a picture book of Abraham Lincoln for the younger kids, or maybe some of you, to still get the idea of a biography without having to read something that's ginormously thick. If a person writes about his or her own life, though, we call that an autobiography versus biography. They're all still that way. Poetry, last thing. It can be a few words, maybe 5 or or 6 words on a page, and that be the whole poem, or it can be several pages. They're typically written with rhyming words. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am, since Dr. Seuss's birthday is coming up pretty soon. They don't have to rhyme, though. It's totally up to the author of the poem whether or not it rhymes. There is, yes?
Dr. Seuss a poetry writer?
Well, Dr. Seuss writes in rhyming words. His books, though, are for everybody. So, yes, they are technically poems, but anybody can read them. Even a kindergartner can grab a Dr. Seuss book and enjoy it. And adults like me and Miss Sales, they enjoy Dr. Seuss books as well. So, it is a poem. The format, though, is picture. Okay? All right. So, poetry uses descriptive words. It paints mind pictures or make mind sounds. If there's words in the poem that sound like what it sounds like, a train going down a track would go clackety clackety clack, and that word kind of sounds like what it would sound like if it were a train. Alrighty, let's stay just on this page because it's time for you guys to find books in the library that fit the different genre. To help you out, I have some little posters. There's a poster somewhere on some shelves, and I have some books turned so you can see the cover a little better. I'm going to put you all in groups. You get an iPad to scan the QR codes, and remember we asked you to bring pencils today?
Yeah.
Because as becoming genre detectives, that's going to be your goal eventually once I explain another activity that's offered to you. Detectives write down the clues they find, right? Do they write down the clues they find? Okay. To help you on your investigation, your search in the library of books that fit different genres, I made you a genre investigations note sheet. You can kind of think of this as your handy dandy notebook. So there are 9 books. I'm going to throw that out there. 9 books. There are 9 pages in your little book. With your group, you're going to scan the QR code once you find a poster. And once the QR code goes to the text that I have in there, you're going to find out what genre the book is and why. In your notebook, write down the genre. There's a little page, section on each page. That gives you a spot to write the genre and to write some clues. So you're not going to write down every single word of the explanation that I have as to why a book fits a genre. Just some key words, some clues, something that clues you in to why it's what I have there. Alrighty. As I give you your notebook, I'm going to give you a number from 1 to 9. That's going to put you guys in groups. Off we go. Give me 5, please, ladies and gentlemen. Very nice. All right. How did the investigation go? Give me a thumbs up if it went well. It was okay. Not fun at all. It would be a thumbs down. It was okay, or she was awesome. Okay. All right. Hands down. Let's go over what you guys found in your investigation, because detectives network. They work together as a team. So each little group was a team, and now this entire class is going to be a team of detectives who can share information to help them solve the case. So, group 1. Where's somebody from group 1? Somebody from group 1? Okay. Give me the genre, please, of the angel tree.
Mystery.
It's a mystery. How did you guys find that out?
They sit on the thing.
Right, but what were your clues to why it's that genre?
It said solve a mystery.
Okay, so the kids in the story solve a mystery. They try to figure out who's the benefactor or benefactress who's responsible for putting up the angel tree every Christmas. All right, somebody from group 2. Did group 2 just evaporate entirely? Who remembers me in group 2? Okay, let's see. Were you group 2 as well?
Abby knows.
Not. Okay. All right, so tell me the genre of informational, and the title was? Okay, My Librarian is a Camel. Why was it informational? Okay, and what about the book itself? Okay, well, let's see if your detective friend over here can help you out.
It explains how young library users get books in other countries.
Okay, so what'd you say? Okay, so speak up a little. I'm gonna let you phone a friend. So you have to listen to what she says so you can tell me that.
It explains how young library users get books in other countries.
What did she say?
Say one more time. It explains how young library users get books in other countries. It explains how libraries.
It explains. So explains is a clue to what? It tells you something. So it's informational. Its purpose is to inform. My Librarian is a Camel explains how young library users, kids in libraries all around the country get their books. Some kids in other countries don't have a library to go to. The library comes to them. All right, table 3, or group 3. Somebody from group 3. Give me the genre of the next one. Title was?
When Marion sang.
Okay, When Marion Sang. It's a biography because
It gives the life story of Marion Anderson, the first African American.
Right. Marian Anderson was a young woman in the 60s, 70s, around there, that was the first woman to sing in the Metropolitan Opera House. First African American woman to sing in the Metropolitan Opera House. All right, group 4. Yeah. Title?
Navigation.
Okay. So we did.
Because of When Dixie.
Okay, because of Winn-Dixie. What genre was it?
It was realistic fiction.
Why?
Because Opal is learning how to adjust to town.
Okay, Opal. Character's name is Opal, like the stone. It's the October birth month stone, I think. So Opal moves to a new town and has to adjust to a new school, new friends, all that stuff. She does have the help of a friendly dog named Winn-Dixie, who doesn't talk though, so it is realistic fiction even though there is a dog. It's a pretty prominent character. Table 5, group 5. Yeah. Give me the title of the book. Yay Shen, okay. What was it? Okay, so what genre category would we call something that's a retold Cinderella story, a story that's been told over and over again? It's fiction. Special kind of fiction, though. Now, why don't you phone a friend? Somebody whose hand is raised. Help them out with what genre Yei Shen would be. The retold Chinese Cinderella. Okay, call on somebody. You can point to them.
Tradition of literacy.
Okay, what'd your friend say?
Traditional literature.
Okay, traditional literature. stories passed down through storytelling. Table or group, actually, 6. Yep. Title? Okay.
Historical.
Why?
Because it gives names and some place back in the old days in the 1930s.
1930s is definitely your clue that Out of the Dust is historical fiction. Billy Joe lives in Oklahoma. There are lots of people that live in Oklahoma today, yet she lives in the 1930s during the Dust Bowl of the Great Depression. She doesn't live right now in 2016. Group 7. Anybody remember being group 7? Okay, group 7 evaporated. They went down the rabbit hole with Alice. Visiting Wonderland right now. 7? Group 7? All right, off you go. Oh, okay.
But I know what it is.
Well, let's see. Somebody I haven't talked to yet today. Go ahead and give me the next title. In your book. Last one that was done was Out of the Dust. Find the one after that for me. Okay, Out of the Dust. We did win Dixie. Tell me the one after that. After Because of Dixie. Did your group get to it? No? Alright. Who has the genre for The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Alright. Yep, you right there. What's the genre?
Fantasy.
Okay, why?
Because it's got talking animals.
And anything special about the setting? Would you like to phone a friend and find out where the siblings go? Phone a friend. Point to somebody whose hand is raised. Which one are you? Wardrobe.
They go through a wardrobe and find another.
Okay, they find another land. It's called
Narnia.
Yeah, everybody say it. 1, 2, 3.
Narnia.
Alright, so Narnia is a magical world where there are talking animals and they meet Aslan the lion. Okay, so that's definitely fantasy because we have a super magical fictional place and a talking animal. Alright, next on our list. Excuse me, let me borrow that for a second. Alright. Angel Tree we've done. Like My Librarian is a Camel, When Marion Sang, The Giver, Dust, Dixie. Yep. Okay, give me the Giver, somebody, please. Whose hand is raised? Awesome. Yep.
It's science fiction.
It's science fiction. Okay, why?
Because he lives in a colorless world.
Absolutely. Jonah, the main character in The Giver, is a boy who lives in a world that is entirely black and white. There are no colors in Jonah's world until he goes to some interesting, pretty cool places, but we won't go into that. I don't want to give it away. All right. Last but not least would be, yeah.
I'm not in Team 8, but I have a fact. It's that my dad's name is Jay. His name is Billy Joe.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so kind of like the character in Out of the Dust. All right, give me the genre of the very last book on your list. Somebody I haven't talked to yet today. Yep. Give me the genre of the last one. Poetry. What's the title? When the Sidewalk Ends. Why is it poetry? A little louder, please. Because why? Right, there's only a few words per page. Also, they're individual poems. It's a whole collection of poems by the author Shel Silverstein. He wrote a bunch of poems that got published in a book all together, and they call it Where the Sidewalk Ends. Alrighty. Your investigation notebooks are yours to keep. You may take them with you. The QR codes are going to stay in the library, right?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are.
And then I will introduce the
Okay, great. So there's something that goes along with this. You guys got a special sneak peek that some classes aren't getting as to all this genre talk, and then we're going to talk more about it throughout the week. Alrighty, it's time for you guys to go.
As a way to engage in collaboration with colleagues, I created a Google Forms survey which asked teachers which resources, if any, I could provide them regarding reading comprehension. Based on the results from this survey, I compiled 3 picture book lists of titles readily available in the Library Media Center, which teachers could use when working with students on inferencing, questioning, and visualizing. These cross-referenced book lists were made available to teachers through a Google Drive folder. To help students and classroom teachers find books in the Library Media Center that meet specific AR level range or Lexile level criteria, I made an OPAC help sheet which explains 4 steps to using the AR or Lexile criteria as the main criteria for searching in the Destiny Library catalog. I created a reading promotion activity called Genre Bingo for students in 3rd through 5th grade, which was introduced through the following video. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to become a genre detective. Before discussing the details of your mission, let's examine the word genre. What is genre? A genre is a category for books, music, or art. It comes from the French word for kind, as in type. Knowing about book genres help readers do 2 things. Find books similar to ones they already enjoy by different authors and in different series, and stretch their reading preferences by trying books outside their usual favorite types. There are 9 basic book genres: realistic fiction, historical fiction, science fiction, fantasy, mystery, informational, traditional literature, biography, and poetry. To determine how a book fits into a particular genre, you might need to do a little research on the basic characteristics of that genre. You can become a genre detective by playing Genre Bingo. To get started, head to the Library Media Center and grab a Genre Bingo sheet. You will notice when you get your Genre Bingo sheet that there are 25 boxes. Each box has a place for a book title and adult initials. Almost every box already has a genre category attached to it. There are a few free space boxes that you can use to choose your own book without paying attention to the genre or get a recommendation from the Library Media Center of a great title. Each time you read a book, write down its title and then go find an adult, such as your teacher, the school librarian, or a family member, and discuss why the book fits the particular genre you picked. Make sure to get their initials in the box. It's up to you which of the 2 levels of Genre Bingo you complete. Once you have completed 5 boxes that spell the word genre horizontally, vertically, or diagonally, starting on the board anywhere you would like to, you will reach genre detective status. Now that you are a genre detective, bring your completed genre bingo sheet to the Library Media Center to claim the mini magnifying glass you have earned. If you choose to keep going and totally complete the genre bingo sheet by filling in all 25 boxes, you will reach genre inspector status. Now that you're a genre inspector, bring your completed genre bingo sheet to the Library Media Center to claim the book you earned. Do you choose to accept this mission? In keeping with the library media specialist's routine of displaying everybody books pertaining to monthly holidays, I created a display of February Everybody books that features Valentine's Day, President's Day, and added Groundhog Day books. To get students thinking about Dr. Seuss's birthday, I created a bulletin board display which asks them to match the Dr. Seuss character silhouettes to the books they are featured in. This display also reminds students to check out Dr. Seuss books in the Library Media Center. At the public library, I was thrilled to meet author Katherine Applegate and asked her to sign the Ivan picture book for the Library Media Center. She also signed my copies of The One and Only Ivan and the Ivan picture book. During a team-building exercise on a teacher planning day, the faculty and staff traded names and had to write compliments about the individuals they were given. This is what a fourth grade teacher wrote about me. Sarah is very organized and knowledgeable about our library. Because of this, she is always able to help our students locate any book they are looking for. It was bittersweet for my last day of practicum to be the school-wide celebration of Read Across America Day. On that day, I was finally able to reveal the correct answers to my bulletin board display. To make it possible for the entire school to celebrate Dr. Seuss's birthday on the actual day, each special area teacher hosted an activity station in the school gym through which students rotated in grade-level groups. At the library station, each student chose a new book and colored a Dr. Seuss bookmark. At the PE station, students participated in a green eggs and ham relay obstacle course. At the art and music station, students sang the Green Eggs and Ham song from Seussical the Musical. At the science station, students participated in a one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish activity focused on chemical reactions. After assisting with the library station for a few group rotations, I became responsible for the science station. Since the school's celebration included dressing as a storybook character, I chose to dress up as the Cat in the Hat.